Hey everybody, this is LA Knight, and I am back with a review of Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. So, initially, oh, by the way, I'm kind of doped up right now because I had some dental work done, thanks to my mother, and it was bad and painful, and so I'm doped. Anyway, when I first heard of Three Dark Crowns, the plot didn't really interest me because it was about three sisters all raised to be the queen of Fenburn Island, which doesn't actually exist. It's a magical place. But in order for them to, fulfill their destiny, quote unquote, one of them is going to have to kill off the other two at some point. And they're sisters, and I didn't like that. That sounded depressing. But then I saw these beautiful covers, I want to say from England, where they had three different editions because each of the three queens has a different magical power. And the queens are named Mirabella, Katarina, and Arsinoe. And so, or it's Arsino, but I think Arsinoe sounds better. Anyway, so I called them Mira, Kat, and Sin so that I didn't, when I was commenting on Goodreads, so that I didn't have to type out all of the big long names in my phone every time I wanted to make a comment. Anyway, so Mira, Kat, and Sin each have different types of magic, or they're supposed to. Kat is supposed to be a poisoner, which means that if she's super powerful, her blood is poisonous, and she's supposed to be immune to all poisons that ever were ever. And then Sin is supposed to be a naturalist, so she's supposed to be able to talk to animals. And then Mira is supposed to be an elementalist, where she can control the wind and the weather and fire, and I assume cause earthquakes, but we don't ever see that. So the different editions of the book that I saw, one of them had a serpent coiling around a crown, one of them had a crown that was on fire, and one of them had a crown, I think, with flowers on it. Anyway, all three of them were super pretty. I'm like, that's really cool. I think I want those. And so, but then I had to justify buying them, which I actually ended up not doing because I couldn't afford it. But I had to justify buying them by reading the book. And I read the book, and I actually liked it a lot more than I expected. So, let's get going with this. So, the first thing is that Katarina, Queen Katarine, she is not a poisoner. She is not immune to poisons. She has built up an immunity to some certain poisons over the course of her life living with the poisoners, but her magical powers of being a poisoner, for some reason, have not manifested yet. We find out why this is near the end of the book. Sin has the same problem. She has not found her familiar yet, and apparently all naturalist queens have that, and she hasn't found hers yet, and we find out why that is at the end of the book also. Mira is the only one who looks like her powers are actually working the way they're supposed to. What's weird is that, so all three of the girls were raised together until they were about 6 or 7, and then they were all split up to their different groups. So Mira was given over to the temple of the goddess, and I'm not quite sure what the deal is with the goddess even now, because they don't really go into it that much, but the priestesses are weird, and, I don't know, there's something weird politically going on there, but we don't know what it is. Now, the thing is that, yes, they do want to be the ruling power of Fenburn Island, that's pretty upfront, and so they're like, yeah, we're gonna put Mira at the front, and we're gonna set up rumors and manipulate the populace to make it as easy for her to become queen as possible, because Mira doesn't want to kill nobody. She doesn't want to be queen. She doesn't want to kill no one. And the priestesses are like, shit, this ain't going according to our plans. We gotta do some shit about this. So they start coming up with these rumors about the white queen, quote unquote, about how every so often there's a queen who is so pure that the populace of Fenburn Island has to rise up and murder the other two queens for her because she can't bear to bloody her hands with the blood of her kin. Now, this is actually all bullshit, and they made this up, but because they're the priestesses and they're supposed to be the keepers of history, everyone's like, oh, this sounds kind of legit, except, of course, for the poisoners and the naturalists, who hear about this shit and are like, oh shit, the temple is totally coming to kill us. We gotta do some shit about this. That's what's going on with Mira. And also, of course, our girl, because she has, brains and doesn't want to kill her siblings. Also, for some reason, she remembers being with them when they were all kids. Like, she has memories of them being together and being raised together to love each other. But then the other two don't remember her, like, at all. And it's super... Oh, hey, the battery on my phone is dead. Is going dead. I gotta do something about that. So, like, Mira's like, no, we're sisters and we shouldn't hate each other. And Kat is like, what? Nope, I want the crown. Thanks, bye, it's mine. And Sin is like, I don't trust any of you bitches, thanks. And Sin doesn't want to be queen either. Oh, there's a thing on my phone. I can't get it to go away. Go away. Go away. Move. Oh, whatever. Shit. I don't know how to get this thing to move. Am I even still being recorded? Whatever. I'll keep talking until it stops. Hello? Phone. Bad phone. Anyway. So Sin is like, I don't even want to be queen anyway. Oh, it turns out apparently she and a friend of hers and her like best girlfriend, and then this boy that she has a crush on named Joseph, who's like a total, oh hey, my phone's back. And this boy named Joseph, who's like a total douchebag. I mean, people are like, well, Joseph's not so bad. I'm like, no, fuck Joseph. Joseph to get drowned in a river. Joseph needs to get hit by a bus. Joseph needs to die. I just, nope. I don't like him. Joseph needs to go die. So apparently, way back in the day before the book started, Joseph and Sin's best friend all were like, let's get the hell out of here, this is stupid, and I dropped my stylus, and they tried to leave, but then, of course, the temple was like, fuck this shit, nope, we have rules about this, and so they went and dragged the kids back and, like, put the boy in indentured servitude for a bit on a boat, and kept a super sharp eye on Sin and her buddies after that. So apparently the way this is gonna go is that they're gonna, once they hit 16, there's gonna be, like, this party where it's basically like a festival where they are gonna celebrate the coming deaths of two of the queens, which I feel like is, like, morbid as fuck, man. But whatever. So they have this party where the girls, like, demonstrate their powers. Now, the thing is, Katarine and Sin don't have any powers. So Mira is like, I'm gonna do this fire dance and look awesome, look at me, yay! And everyone's like, wow, she's so cool. But then, what's Kat supposed to do? Because apparently the way that poisoners do their shit is, like, show how powerful they are, is they eat a bunch of poison shit. And so, but she can't do that, because you see that actually at the beginning of the book. She has, like, this thing to show the other poisoners how great she is. And she flubs it because she ends up throwing up because of the poison. Like, her body's like, okay, we either need to barf this up or we go and die. And so she barfs it up instead of dying. Which, great, that she doesn't die. But at the same time, then, so how's she going to do this again in front of, like, literally everyone who matters? But her guardian is, like, this super smart lady and is like, I know what to do. And so she gives her all of this food that's supposed to be super poisonous, but isn't. And Kat, like, basically just eats herself sick, but without the throwing up part. And so everyone's like, wow, damn, she ate all that poison. That's so amazing. She's got really strong poison powers. Here's where shit gets problematic. So, and not problematic like politically correct problematic. I mean problematic like problems for everyone in the book. So, because of the whole sacrifice for the White Queen killed people shit, Katarine's boyfriend, who's not supposed to be her boyfriend, he's supposed to teach her how to seduce boys, but they end up falling in love. Of course they do. He's just like, I love you, Katarine, and I don't want you to get sacrificed because you're gonna get torn limb from limb and it's gonna be like the worst thing ever. So, if shit goes bad, I'm gonna kill her. He's like, makes this decision in his brain and doesn't tell anybody else that that's what he's gonna do. Meanwhile, Sin is like, fuck shit, I don't know what to do, I ain't got no powers. So she talks to her best friend's mom, who's like a total bitch. And it's crazy pants. I don't know what her mom's deal is. Like, I can't tell if her mom is, like, legitimately mentally ill or just evil. Or is, like, because her mom seems really codependent. The friend's mom seems really codependent. And is like, I want the friend to love me. And so in order to do that, I have to help you, Sin. And I'm like, I realize that you and the friend are, like, 15, almost 16. And that's not very old. But I feel like you guys really need to stay away from her because she's evil. She's evil as fuck. She's evil. So she's like, let's do some blood magic. And at that point, I was like, shit, blood magic is never good. Never, 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 never. She's like, let's do some blood magic. So first of all, we're going to do blood magic to, I forget, like, she wanted to, like, make Joseph fall in love with one of them, but, like, she needed Cyn's blood, and I'm wondering why, because, like, why can't she just use regular blood? Why does she need queen blood? And does she really need, like, naturalist queen blood, or did she actually know the secret about Katarine and Cyn, which, by the way, spoiler, is that they were switched at birth, and so Cyn is actually the poisoner queen, who's immune to poison, and Katarine is the naturalist, which, by the way, that means that her familiar got killed, which makes me really worried. She has this, like, super poisonous snake named Sweetheart who got killed, and I'm like, fuck. So then they replaced the snake with a... That's my notebook, by the way. They replaced the snake with a snake that's identical, but it's not the same one. And so if that snake bites her, she could die. Because it's like a black mamba or some shit. And there is actually a point, at one point, where the snake does try to bite her, the new one. And Kat's just like, what the fuck just happened? She's never tried to bite me before. I've had her for, like, ever. And the only reason she doesn't bite her is because the prince, he's not really a prince, he's a lord, the boyfriend, is like, I got you, I save you. He knows that the snake is, like, super not the same one. But she's just like, I don't know what just happened. Anyway, so that whole thing went down, and Cyn's friend's mom is like, yeah, we're gonna do some blood magic and make Joseph, like, fall in love with the people, and then it backfires, and I'm not sure if that's because Cyn's blood is actually poisoner blood, or because this is actually what the mom wanted, and she's, like, just evil, but Joseph ends up, he's in love with what's her face? God, I just said her name, Cyn. He's in love with Cyn, but he also, or the friend, is he in love with Cyn or the friend? Shit, I just finished this book like a month ago, but I read, like, all the times now because I got fired, so I don't remember now. Shit. Anyway, he's in love supposedly with one of the two girls, but because of the spell, for some reason he gets, like, this weird attraction to Mira when she tries to run away, because she's like, fuck this shit, I don't want to do it. And then he doesn't know that it's Mira at first, and so he's like, I'm totally in lust with you. They end up having sex in a cave, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and the thing is, he was, like, hypothermic, so, like, she had to get all, like, naked up in his bedroll and stuff to keep him from dying. But then later, you know, and of course, because some straight boys do this, I guess, like, a male friend of mine said this is actually really common. Not being a man, I don't know if it is or not. My husband doesn't do this shit, but apparently it's really common for straight boys to grope girls in their sleep or something. Anyway, I don't know about that. But so he does this, and Mira's, like, all into it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. But, like, now, granted, she never tells him no, so it's not like she said no and then he coaxed her into it, which I would have had a serious problem with. But so they end up, like, having sex in this cave, and then, so now he's got, like, this weird fucked up connection to her, but he's also, like, super into the whatever girl it was from the naturalist camp that he had a thing for. And so there's all this drama, because there's, like, Kat and her boyfriend who's, like, gonna kill her if things go bad because he doesn't want her torn limb from limb. And then there's Mira, who's got a thing for Joseph, but then she finds out that Joseph is actually in love with either her sister or her sister's friend. Mira's trying to reconnect with her sisters. For some reason, it has never occurred to anybody that the three of them could rule together. And I'm wondering if it's because there's some kind of weird thing going on with this dark goddess of Fenburn. I don't know. I'm like, do they need human sacrifice to fuel the magic here? Like, would everyone be normal if they didn't start killing off the queens? Or if they stopped killing the queens off? Like, would everyone stop having magical powers because the goddess would be like, fuck you guys, I want my blood sacrifice, fine, I'm leaving? Like, what is, like, I don't know. There's so many questions. And, like, why did the queen who was their mother switch Kat and Cyn? Why do that? Like, was it to kill off the naturalist queen out of her 3 children? Because apparently, like, every queen who is the queen, who ends up living to become queen and have a consort and have babies, always has triplets, except for those rare occasions when they have quadruplets. And then, get this is totally fucked up, then they have the 4th baby at that point is called the blue queen, and is usually considered sacred, and they just drown the other 3 when they're born. And I'm like, how are the queens okay with this? Like, Like, what? How disassociated do you gotta be from the little spawnlings squirming around in your belly that you're just like, yeah, drown the other three, I don't care. And then also, like, so the queen gave birth to these three girls and then just, like, took off with her consort and left the island. And it's like, why? Is there ever gonna be, like, a reunification of the three and their mom? But no, because, so the blood magic, right? So the blood magic also got Cyn a bear familiar, except it wasn't actually her familiar, and there was something wrong with that bear. I swear to goodness, it, like, had to be rabid or something, or, like, the magic made it rabid, or whatever. But she lost control of it at the party, and it went right for Mira. And this is after Mira saved Cyn's life. So Mira's like, oh my god, because nobody knows that she lost control of it except the naturalists who know that she doesn't have a familiar. So they know that she actually lost control. Everyone else is like, oh my god, she just attacked Mira. That's breaking the rules. Fuck her. And then Kat runs away and is like, oh my god, that bear is super fucking scary. So she runs right to the boyfriend and she's like, oh my god, it was horrible. Now, he wasn't at the party. He was hiding out in the woods because he couldn't bear to watch because he's a pussy. Or something. I don't know. I feel like I'm being a little harsher on him than I should be because he tries to kill her, but he didn't. He did it out of love. That's a weird statement. But yeah, he did it out of love. So she runs into the woods, finds him. Like, they've arranged to meet up at this crevice. And she's like, it was horrible. Everything went crazy and there was blood and there was fire and it was awful. He was like, oh man, I didn't want this for you. And he kisses her and then he shoves her off the cliff. And then after he does that, and so she dies, quote unquote, he thinks that she's dead. Of course she doesn't die, because that's way too easy. He gets back and he finds out what actually happened, and he's like, fuck, I didn't need to do that, fuck. Well, he doesn't tell anybody that he did this, so everyone's like, Katarine's dead. Oh no, Katarine must have, like, fallen and fallen into the crevice and died, and apparently there's, like, some weird dark shit living in that crevice. I don't know what it is, but there's, like, some kind of, like, dark goddess or demon, or it's like the bodies of the dead queens are all there, and so, like, their power is, like, melting together into some, I don't know what it is. I don't know. They didn't really go into that because the girls were more like, we need to survive this, and less like, oh, history of our island, this is great. So the book ends with Cyn getting poisoned, except that she is fine because she's a poisoner, and then the best friend almost dying because she got poisoned, and then Mira being like, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm not gonna try to protect Cyn anymore because she tried to kill me, and then Kat showing up at the end, and she's like, hey, fuckers, I didn't actually fall and die, I want my throne, also my boyfriend's a dickbag, and I'm gonna kill him. And I'm like, ooh, shit, and then that was the end. That wasn't the end of my podcast, though. Ha, psyched. Tricked you. Anyway. So yeah, that was the end of the book, and I was like, holy shit, what? And then I was too broke to get One Dark Throne, which is the sequel. But I got it with my tax return. But I haven't read it yet. I don't want to die. Ooh. So yeah. 3 Dark Crowns. Super interesting. Way more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I thought that I was thinking when I first started that I was going to root for one person and hate the other 2, or just hate all of them, and I love all 3 of them, and now I don't know what to do. This is like the Hunger Games, sort of, where you're rooting for both Katniss and Peeta and Rue, and it's like, you want all 3 of them to live, but you know you ain't gonna. I want to know what's also, apparently Cyn has a boyfriend who's, like, one of the boys that they put forward to be, because, like, I guess they put forward boys to be potential consorts for the girls. And so he, like, pops up, and he's okay. He's sweet, but I'm like, you know what? I do not trust you. Especially because his dad is, like, a total dickbag, and is in the pay of the poisoners. And I'm like, on the one hand, it is possible for boys to go against their dads. On the other hand, the statistical probability of your dad being a bad guy in this novel and you not being some kind of shady is slim. Just because there's only so much space in a novel, so everything you introduce has to be introduced for a reason. Anyway, so yeah, the book is really interesting. I really liked it. If you are not into political intrigue, you're not gonna like it, though, because, like, if you're looking for, like, action, instead of, like, you know, secrets and rumors and political machinations, I like that word, machinations. If you want action and fighting and battles instead of machinations, this book is not for you. If you're looking for queer representation, this book is also not for you because everybody is straight or single. One of the two. I will say that there's a lot of really strong female characters, and from what I remember, not all of them are white. But the thing is that when I read, because I, like, burn through shit, right? So unless somebody explicitly states more than once, or they're on the cover, what nationality a person is, or ethnicity a person is, I don't remember most of the time. Like, I totally forgot for the longest time that the girl in Matched is Hispanic, Matched by Ali Condi, and that her best girlfriend is black. I totally forgot. For the longest time. Anyway, so yeah, 3 Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. Super good. I am definitely going to be reading When Dark Thrones soon-ish, maybe. I don't know, I'm a little burnt out on darkness right now, and apparently I've heard rumors that Kat goes crazy in book 2, and I'm like, no, I love her, because she's really sweet. Like, that sounds terrible because she's a poisoner. Oh, trigger warning, forgot to tell you, trigger warning. So, Cin's friend's mom is an abusive bitch to the friend. For some reason, like, I'm not quite sure what the deal is, but, like, she does things that are emotionally abusive, and there are 2 women who are taking care of Katarine directly, and one of them is super hella fucking abusive and needs to die, but she's not in the book very much, because she gets shipped off to a different castle, but then the woman who, like, legitimately she loves Katarine, but when Katarine disappoints her, she makes it very obvious. I didn't know that this woman loved Katarine until near the end of the book. Like, I was never sure. I wasn't, like, convinced that she didn't love her. I was always 50-50. Does she? Doesn't she? Does she? Doesn't she? And then you don't find out until near the end. Yeah, she totally does. But that should tell you, like, the level of, like, not okayness I have with their relationship. Anyway, so yeah, if, political intrigue and weird magic and strong female characters is what you are into, then check out this book. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, press the like button. Seriously, Notebook? Press the like button if you love me. Subscribe for more of me. And shout out to my patrons, Amanda, Belle, Chelsea, Cynthia, Lina, Lorien, Morgan, Tina, and Whitney. I love you guys. You are the bestest. Thank you for being my patrons. Support me on Patreon if you like what you hear. I almost said what you see. What you hear. Check me out on Etsy, fanfiction.net, Archive of Our Own, all those other places. I can't think. Tumblr, Tumblr, Twitter, Pinterest, all that stuff. And I'll have links to all that shit in the doobly-doo down below. And remember, you guys, you are loved. And enjoy what you enjoy. Be free. Have fun. Love yourselves. Take care.